Okay, so here's the question that you were working on. I'm going to go ahead and click similar example. And let's take a look at another one. Okay, so here we are. We have this one right here. And so if we click on graph, okay, so you have to make sure you pick the right one. I don't know if that was an issue or not, but so we're dealing with cosine. So cosine of 0 is going to give you 1. So we want to pick this one, the cos, and it even says cosine tool. So you click anywhere on the graph and it shows up here. Now we have to adjust the amplitude, the vertical shift, and phase shift and period right here. So we'll start with amplitude. The amplitude is going to be 2, so we'll go ahead and move that over to 2. Okay. There is no vertical shift, so we won't worry about that. Okay. The phase shift and period. Now you have to be careful. This is probably where a lot of folks are getting thrown off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a snapshot of this and work it out on this blank paper right here. Okay. So what we have to do here is we're going to have to, in order to figure out your phase shift and your period, you have to get the B value outside this parenthesis. So you have to, you want to factor it to where this is just an X right here. So you're going to factor out a 2. So what that will leave us with is, so we still have -2 cosine. And then what we're going to do is we're going to factor that 2 out. So that'd become an X. And then what you're going to do is factor a 2 out from this. And so that'll become minus pi over 4. Okay. And you could always double check that if you were to distribute it back in, we'd go right back to where we were. But the purpose for doing this was to figure out the, help us figure out the period and the phase shift. So that's going to be your B value for your period. So to figure out your period, you do 2 pi divided by B, which in this case will be 2 pi divided by 2, which is pi. So that's going to be our period. Our period is going to be pi. And then our phase shift is going to be to the left, I'm sorry, to the right, pi over 4. So let's go back to the slide. Oops, wrong one. Let's see. Here we go. So the period's going to be pi, and the phase shift is going to be pi divided by 4. And let's see, that looks good. Okay, now there is a reflection across the x-axis because of the negative with the amplitude right there. So that's going to be a reflection across the x-axis, so we don't want to forget that. Okay, everything looks good, so I'll go ahead and save. And let's go ahead and check that. There we go. So, yeah, be a little careful. What throws a lot of people off right here is that you have to, you want the value inside the parentheses right there in front of the coefficient in front of x needs to be a 1. And so you had to factor out that 2, and then that affects the phase shift right there. And so hopefully that answers your question. If not, don't hesitate to send me an email back and say, that wasn't quite what I was looking for, and I'll try to see if I can help you out.